Okay, thank you everyone. I had a mini introduction, but now we're live and recording, so I'll be on better behavior. So today's been a very fun day, and I've had so many topics go through my mind on what can we talk about today. And I was thinking, okay, let's talk about the etheric body and the emotional body and the mental body, because those are really cool things to know. And then I thought, let's talk about love, the emotion of love, and what is actual love. And that was a good one. Then I thought about what makes you happy and what are the things that you can do in your life to make yourself happy. And, today I was having a pretty good day. And all of a sudden, my partner, Sim, my husband, oh, wow, he comes running in. He's like, Brenda, we need to save this pigeon. We're pigeon breeders. And I don't know how we became pigeon breeders, but I had pigeons as a child in Mississauga. We started off with 5, and I had 50, and the government took them away because of the air traffic. Well, I don't know. I think the air traffic going our house changed, and they were lower, and it was a cause for issues. So he had pigeons as a child. So now we're pigeon breeders, more for fun for me, because I think everyone's pretty, but apparently there are some that are prettier than others. But anyway, back to the story. The baby pigeon was kicked out of its nest. And this does happen. We do not promote breeding at this time because it's hard for a pigeon to breed in winter. But sometimes, even though we separate them, sometimes we leave a male behind because it's hard to tell. So these parents got together, had a child, and they kicked the baby out. So he comes running in and it's frozen. It's not moving. He's like, we got to save it. So I had it in my hands, and I had it beside the fireplace, and it came back to life. And it's cheeping, but it looks really sick. Anyway, we feed it, and it's like so alive right now and so happy. So, sometimes your days just blah, but then these little miracles happen. And now we have a little pigeon orphan baby that we're going to raise, and we'll eventually get them old enough and put them back with the birds. But the ones we do this for, they always have a special little attachment to us. So if we're in the coops, they'll jump on our shoulders, and they have a look in their eye that's like they know. So it's something that's sweet. And I'm thinking, okay, my day was just kind of going, lots going on. And then this cute little bird came into my life. So I've been posting. I posted a video accidentally actually on YouTube. I was trying to get it on Facebook, and then I posted it, and I'll just leave it there. But I'll probably just do the updates on Facebook or something. So how is everyone doing today? There's so much energy out there, but there's so much, you can feel these waves. Something big is going to happen in March. Is anyone feeling it? Like those positive shifts? Okay, I know I've been saying this for how long? We've been doing these calls since 2020, and we shift up, and then we kind of go down, and we shift up, but we're always making progress. It's like we're making 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. So we are not in the same energy we were a year ago, even 6 months ago, 2 months ago. The light on this planet is increasing. You can see it in the eyes of people. Yes, there's lots going on, and there's no doubt about that. But the light on this planet is stronger. So when we're feeling down, if we really connect, we can snap out of it faster than ever before. Because we're such multi-dimensional beings, healing's happening at so many different levels. So there's no magic wand for healing. There's no one can tell you this is going to resolve in this many sessions. I know people will say things, and my gosh, the people that used to tell me, oh, you'll be fine after 10 sessions. Yeah, 150 sessions, things like that. So we're all very unique on what we're holding, our traumas, our experiences, our life lessons, what we came here to learn. Sometimes it's illness, and it's like, oh my goodness, my body's so sick. I'm just frustrated with it. So why does it keep happening? I don't have the magic reason why someone's going through this and someone's going through that and someone's going through this. And believe me, I could write a book of the crap that I have gone through my life and still get presented with. And I'm just like, wow, yet another challenge. And that's all it is. It's just a challenge. What am I going to learn from this icky thing? Now, back in the day, I would look at some of these situations and say, wow, this is bad. I would never use that word. I say, wow, this is neutral, or wow, what am I going to learn from this very uncomfortable feeling I'm feeling, or this situation I have to look head on and dive into and see it. I was one to ignore. I ignored, I would keep the peace, let people do whatever they wanted to me because I didn't want conflict. Well, all that's coming up for healing and healing. And some days I don't want to move forward. I just would rather hide in my room, actually hide in the closet and not come out and say, like, let this day be over. But if I don't deal with the day, it's just going to be the next day. So take that deep breath, connect to you. And I think one of the biggest keys that I've learned is I surrender and realize the little Brenda doesn't really understand the big picture, doesn't understand the lessons I need to learn, because I was thinking there was something else, ended up being something else. So now what I simply just ask, okay, higher self, guides, God, what is it that I'm missing here? What do I need to learn? And I'm stubborn. So show me in a way that I can understand it, that I can really understand it, because think of it, this hard skull is not going to just see it for what it is. So I have a very wise son. He'll say something to me and he's telling me what my problem is or what the issue is. Then I'll have someone else say it. I'm still not listening. You know, I'm just like, yeah, okay. And then it'll come a different way. Now all of a sudden it clicks because I've heard it 150 times. And now they're like, okay, do you get it? That's the message. Oh, and it was in front of me all along, but the 3D part of me, the little girl inside me that didn't want to do it was like, ignore, ignore, ignore. Okay, now it's there. I won't ignore it. So I've just been moving every day into uncomfortable, uncomfortable, uncomfortable. But now I'm actually getting less uncomfortable. I'm getting actually less physical pain in my heart because I take on a bit of over responsibility for everyone around me. My heart would actually hurt thinking I should do this because that person needs it. I need to do that because this person needs it. And I've been learning that I'm not supposed to do that. Let people go through their own experiences. That's how they're going to learn and grow. So I have to kind of pull myself off and let them, I can send them love. I can send them positive energy. I can send them well wishes, but I can't get involved and run their life and try to protect them because I'm stopping them from their growth. But then my heart would hurt. But that's something that I've had to let go and deal with, and it hurts less nowadays. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look here. There are some people who sent some things here. A lot of people feeling blah lately. Some other people are feeling connected and seeing numbers. So we're all at different stages. And sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, I can't stop thinking about this bad experience or this bad relationship. Think of it as a blessing. It's just coming up for healing. Now, there was one night recently where I think I could not stop crying. Well, I know I couldn't stop crying. It was just a tap opened because of something. And I'm just like, I'm just going to let it go. And I've done this a few times in my last 13 years of healing because I was not a crier, because I would hold everything in. But we hold things in the etheric field, the emotional field, the mental field, and it gets clogged up. Our humanness was made with all its chakras and layers of energy fields and all that beautiful stuff that we don't see were created to allow us to experience emotion. Now, humans like good emotion, the joy, the love, the fun. Yeah, we're good with that. When that's in our field, we let it go through and run its course and it's all resolved. But what happens when we come into something that doesn't feel good, a trauma, an experience? Well, what happens is we stop it from doing the natural process it's supposed to do, and it then gets stuck. Well, when that stuck energy is there, it's not going anywhere. It doesn't resolve. It kind of gets repressed. Then what happens is that negativity, that experience almost takes a life of its own consciousness. So I'm going to give you an example. You're 2 years old and you are abandoned, but I mean, you're 2 years old, you don't know you're abandoned, but you're somehow hurt because you're kind of left somewhere and you know it. You know, you're not being attended to. And maybe it's something big. Maybe someone in the family there was a death. We know that as a young child. Maybe we're forgotten, and that does happen. Oh, I forgot my kid at so and so's house. I know, sometimes parents, I'm gonna say back in the day, weren't always so observant, and I remember my cousin got left at our house, and parents got home and said, "Hey, is our son there?" Your son's 5 years old. How did you leave him behind? But anyway, no judgment. But that. I remember that person like, how did my parents leave me behind? So say there's a trauma that a lot of us either remember or don't remember, and let's just use the abandonment one. So we're abandoned at a young age. That trauma, we're very young, but we don't process that. For some reason, because we're human, we don't like that feeling, so it kind of gets stuck. So here I am, I'm going to say 5 years old, trauma of abandonment. There is kind of like a branch off or a soul fragment of me that has this abandonment issue. So my 5-year-old self is replaying this abandonment issue. Fear, dark, dense energy, doesn't know anything. It's not very smart. All it knows is it wants to replicate. So now here I am going through life. I'm 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. But there's a part of me that just wants to replicate experiences of abandonment because that's all it knows. So here I am living life, but there's all these things in the background that are pulling me into experiences of abandonment. And I'm thinking, like, how's this happening? Now, my best friend's abandoning me, and this person's abandoning me, and, everybody I meet in school seems to move away. So I don't want to have any relationships anymore because they're just going to abandon me. So now the person becomes 23, 30 years old. Abandonment issues, abandonment is a very big issue in my life, but I don't know where it stems from. Well, it is that fear, that replay of abandonment that wants to replicate because that's all it knows. When we start to heal through energy work, meditation, these are very powerful things because we're working in the quantum field. What happens is layer by layer, because we're very complicated beings, and usually, and it's not necessarily because there's no one who can really tell when that particular healing is going to heal, but over time, we start to chip away at all that gick that got stuck in our field. Eventually, we get to that root, that initial break where we had that pain of abandonment that kept replicating. So when your patterns then change and your world shifts where your abandonment issues aren't happening, you're keeping people in your lives, that's when you kind of know you've resolved that root. And what happens from what I can see when I work on someone, because sometimes when I'm working on someone, all of a sudden I'll just get this overwhelming sense of hurt. And you almost can feel what they went through. But these beautiful beings of light are working on something. And that fragment of them, and sometimes it's age 7, age 2, age 21, then resolves, they heal it. And that part of you that broke off, that soul fragment, that splinter, whatever you want to call it, comes back to the whole, which is in your heart. And when you get to that root, that kind of just balances it out. It's like you've learned the lessons, you've healed from it. So that pattern will actually stop. So I used to have a lot of bad patterns and I do tons of work. And I'm like, no, the pattern's still there. Where is it coming from? So I stopped figuring out, when is it going to clear? I wanted to clear. I needed to clear. I know it's there. I just decided I'm just going to let it be. I'm going to work on myself every day. And one day it will clear when it's ready, when I've learned the lesson, when I have, met the contract that I said I would come in to my soul. Because I do believe when we come in, we make these contracts. I want to learn this in this lifetime. I want to master this in this lifetime. I want to go through these crappy experiences so I will have, the experience to heal from them and grow. So instead of coming and waiting for that end point, when am I going to heal this? When I'm going to heal that? Why not just enjoy the journey of healing and just watch your life change in subtle ways? Because when one pattern heals, I don't know, I'm going to put my hand out there, and I had many patterns to heal. And I remember there was one that was lingering and lingering and lingering, and it would really get me frustrated. And then I'd go to a healer. Oh, yeah, it's gone now. You're great. Oh, great. All right, fabulous. And then, like 4 days later, it's there. It's not that they didn't do a job. What they did is they released what was ready in that field when I was with them. But they didn't realize I had a lot more underneath. So I never like to give the promise to someone that, yeah, we got it this time. The only way we're going to know is, does your life change? Do your finances improve? Does your relationships improve? Does that your health improve? That's when you know you started to hit that or clear those, the roots of the issue. I said this many times, but I remember when I was in my my old life, which is nothing wrong with it, where my finances were really bad, my health was really bad, my relationships were really bad. And I don't know, some wise person told me, maybe not the best thing to tell someone in my state, was, you'll know when you're healed when everything in your life is running perfectly. Your finances, your relationships, your health, and at that point, I went home and I cried for hours because I'm just like, none of those are working for me. Like, I have so much work to do. But that's, it was kind of an eye opener, realizing that I had lots to do. I always had this beautiful gift where I can love everyone. And I thought, oh, that's my lesson on life. I'm just going to love everyone for the rest of my life, and everything's going to be good. My spirituality, my connection was good for everyone else, but it was totally lacking for me and totally lacking for some other, to really understand what my purpose was and what I really needed to learn. So I was just blindsided when I realized I think I'm a mess. And I read a textbook once called The Human Magnetic Syndrome. I asked the universe, I said, show me what I need to know about myself because there's something wrong. And I think I came home late. My dad had Alzheimer's at the time. He was in the hospital. I couldn't sleep. I turned on the TV and there's this doctor, psychologist guy, and he's talking about this book I just mentioned. And my heart said, this is the book you need. When I read that book, my gosh, I was so embarrassed. I'm just like, wow, I'm just a textbook person. I am not special. I'm just messed up. But instead of, you have that initial shock. But then after that, I just said, you know what? I asked, I was ready to learn, and let's start fixing it and chipping away at the issues. So self-awareness is tough, right? When you have to look within, really see yourself and say, oh my goodness, this pattern's been on my life all my life, and now I'm looking at it. So now it's no longer a pattern, it's a choice, because you can have the choice to break it. That's where the awareness comes in, because that pattern in the background, that pattern in the subconscious mind is going to bring you into experiences to keep looping or patterning or replaying it. Different faces, different places, but the same undertone. But if you know that's a pattern you've had and you're going to make the choice to break it, what's that awareness that makes you say, okay, I'm going to do things differently. And as these uncomfortable emotions come up, you work on them to release them so you can then shift out of that. It's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable process when you have to look in and say, wow, I'm not all that put together, or I do have hurts, or I do have traumas and experiences or negative beliefs that are holding me back. And sometimes we don't have to understand where they come from, because sometimes they are from this lifetime. Sometimes they're karmic loops that have happened in many lifetimes. I think that the cutest example that you see are people who are working in a job and say, oh no, this person's so annoying. I got this same issue that I had at my own job, so I'm going to leave this job and go to my next job. The issue doesn't go away because you're the issue. So that job had it, that job had it, and now your new job's going to have it, and the new job's going to have it, unless you really look and say, okay, what is it in me that's creating this work environment that I don't like? So use the work environment that you're in, notice the patterns, the behaviors of people that tick you off or that trigger you or that you're involved in the drama with, and use that as a beautiful platform to heal. Because if you really work on that and you resolve it, you can stay in that job, it's going to be beautiful, or you can move to the next job and that's going to be beautiful. But if you leave these patterns and subconscious stuff floating in the background, that is parts of you that want to replicate the trauma you've been through, replicate the experiences that weren't so nice over and over, because fear and sadness and depression, all they want to do is replicate. That's all they know. That dark, dense energy is not very smart, actually. It just wants to replicate and is playing in the background. So how do you heal? Sometimes just sit quietly, take some deep breaths and say, okay, what is it? Sometimes you can just write. It might just come out that way. Sometimes it just might pop in your head, but don't dismiss it. A lot of people will dismiss those intuitive thoughts thinking, well, how did I have that thought? Where'd that come from? And then we kind of get confused and we just don't even notice how intuitive we are. It's your higher self trying to get your attention. Yes, this is the issue. Let's work on that. Like, how many of us think about someone? I thought about someone today and I texted them and said, hey, how's it going? They said, I was just thinking about you. So I said, okay, was it you thinking about me that told me, hey, contact that person? Or was it vice versa? Or did we co-create? It doesn't really matter. The thing is, we both had an intuitive thought of each other and we connected. So I don't always have to dissect everything and say, okay, was it you? Was it me? Was it, ooh, it's just a little mini miracle where we connected, we had a great exchange, and we went on with our day. So we can look at these mini blessings every day and say, okay, what cool things happened in my life today? I am an intuitive being. I know what my body's feeling. Sometimes we think like it's our mind or just our head and our body's separate. It's all one. Your body's talking to you. If your body is not doing so good, it's happening in here. What is it in here? And I had kidney issues, bladder infections, beginning of some really nasty stuff. And once I started energy work and started going through that subconscious mind and clearing those thoughts, my whole body just completely healed. It was a journey. It didn't happen like right away, but a lot faster than doctors said it ever could happen. So it's really neat because when you start talking to your body and fostering that relationship with your body, knowing that, okay, whatever's going on might be my thought pattern. So instead of saying, oh, not another day of pain, or here, this is going to suck, or telling people, yeah, I'm in so much pain, my back hurts, this hurts, and just kind of ignore it. And I know when you're in pain, it's hard to ignore. Trust me, I know. Do your best to just, when someone asks you, how are you doing? Just say, today I'm feeling better. Today my body's feeling better. Because what you're doing is you're sending this beautiful message to your body that it's doing better. And then when you're alone, have this really intimate relationship with your body. I mean, you don't want to do this in public, but you know what? I will kiss my arm. I will kiss my arm. I say, I love you, body. I love you so much, because this is the body, the vessel I use to enjoy this beautiful earth. I want it to be healthy. I want it to be strong. And I love you for being that way, because every cell of my body comes from this beautiful planet Earth, and it's chosen to be with me. So how blessed am I to have it? So I'm going to really foster a relationship with my body, with my fingernails, with my hair, with everything, every single thing. And you know what? When our bodies aren't working, let's say your right arm hurts. Let's say, hey, right arm, I know you're hurting. I know, I bruised you. You're not doing so good. But this arm works fine. So copy it, because it knows what to do. And I know you can do it too. Well, I always think the vibration of the cells get very excited. Oh my gosh, she's talking to me. She knows we're conscious. She knows and she appreciates us. So it's just going to really get excited and heal. So I'm going to leave it at that. had a bit of a slideshow, but where did that go? Nowhere. And that's okay, because sometimes you would just go with the flow on these. It's all about awareness. What are my patterns? What am I saying? What am I thinking? What am I doing? Because that's all being expressed out to this universe. So when we put out, this world is a beautiful place. There is peace on this planet. There will be peace on this planet. This new earth that we're moving to is going to be full of love and compassion, and the light on this planet is expanding every day. There are peoples whose hearts are opening every single day. It's humanity that has to bring us through the ascension process. It's not the animals on the planet. It's not the elementals. It's none of that. It's not the ETs that are watching and helping, not the beings of light. They are here to support us. They are here to love us during the process. But humanity created this mess, and we're going to get out of it by our awareness of it, our positivity, our hope, and that connection to the divinity that we truly are. Because every single person has a unique piece of a puzzle, and we're all in this together to create this beautiful puzzle. So when we start to put it all together, we are going to create a beautiful new earth. And you can call it, yes, we're going into 5D, we're evolving, our abilities are coming in, but it's a place, a reality, a new plane of existence where everyone has each other's back. There's no competition. There's love. We won't leave anyone in the dark. We're not going to leave anyone outside saying this person's bad and we're good, because all of this beautiful earth, everything on it is part of God's creation. We may not love its behaviors, but if we shine our light, that negative behavior starts to dissipate because it can't stay in this powerful light. So it is our job, if we can do it, and there's no pressure, but if you feel like you can do it, to hold that light as much as possible, because one person in alignment can dissolve the darkness of about 750,000 people. That's why we don't need everyone to be in alignment to have these big shifts. And that's why when the earth was going through these timeline changes, I know in 1987, I was not awake. So they weren't measuring my consciousness when they made this, when the earth said, yes, let's move humanity up. There are a lot of conscious people that held that high vibration, not as high now, I mean, but to those standards, it was high, which gave humanity that shift. And then there was another one, and again, another one, and another one. And as we keep moving forward, more lights, more open hearts are happening, which is moving the human consciousness further up ahead, which is helping humanity. So it only takes so many of us to hold a light to do beautiful shifts. So always remember, you're important, you're magnificent. We can't change the people beside us if they're negative, but we can just sit there quietly and shine our light, and miracles happen without us even knowing in the quantum field. With that being said, let's get into the healing. And I already feel the energy going. It's beautiful. And we're going, I'm just checking, make sure there's nothing in the chat box. Okay, we're good. I'm going to drink some water now. Most people are regulars on the call, but there are some people that kind of jump in from other, I don't know, maybe Eventbrite, if that's even the word of it, and other things. So if you're new to the call, there's nothing you need to do. You're just going to get comfortable. You can either close your eyes, keep your eyes open. The one thing that I'll give a forewarning on, because I get a lot of emails about that, is a lot of people find this part a little bit too intense, and they just want to drop off the call because they feel something happening, they don't understand it. Well, we're all light and we're all dark. That's humanity. There's nothing to be ashamed of. That's just who we are. So when we're doing a healing like this, it's actually your higher self that is guiding it. Your higher self is kind of bringing up whatever experiences or dense energy or things that aren't so good up for healing. But everyone's healing's different. So some people get this feeling that's very uncomfortable. That's because it's kind of going to filter out in a very, very safe, beautiful way. But that is a conscious energy that does not want to leave. So some people will feel this anxiety as it's leaving, and some people will actually be told, stop, turn it off. That's just that dense energy saying, I'm not ready to leave. Please don't get rid of me. Turn this thing off. If you can manage to stay, take or allow deep breaths and say, you know what? I deserve to feel good. And any dense energy, anything that is ready to be pulled out of my field, I'm going to be in an allowing state. I'm going to breathe and know this beautiful light is going to come in, gently remove it and replace it with God's love and light, increasing my light quotient. If you can do that and stay through it, you're going to feel a lot lighter afterwards. But if you do feel like you need to hang up and leave the call, that is okay, because we're going to send out love to everyone on the call, family, friends, your pets, your homes, and then we send it out to Mother Earth and everybody on this beautiful planet. So you're going to get what you can handle today, because we can't force anything. We're just making it available. Right, if anyone has any questions, you're free to put them in. I'm going to get the music on. I'm going to drink a lot of water, and we're going to start. At this point, I might as well just stop the recording, because why have me drinking on the recording? That's kind of silly. So thank you for joining me. If you ever want to attend the live call, which is the live healing part, join us. And I'm going to go offline right now, and we're going to get into the healing. All right, everyone, let's get this going.